life practice community.
All right, so we're going to start our Vin and Yin practice today in a little child's pose. And come onto your knees, and then you can either bring your toes together and your knees wide, or you can bring them a bit closer. It's up to you. And then just sit your hips back and rest your forehead. And so our Vin and Yin practice, it is a balance. We move through kind of a more fluid and active practice for the first half hour, breath by breath, movement by movement. And then for the second half hour, we drop into stillness and we take our long, slow yin shapes. Finding the middle between these two polarities. As you drop into stillness and you drop into your shape and you arrive in your breath and you connect with your heartbeat, check in with what's going on in your body, in your mind, in your soul. And one of the key components of a mindfulness practice is compassion. So can you look at whatever is showing up for you and look at it non-judgmentally? Look at it compassionately. And know that showing up here is quite enough. That's plenty. So I know a few of us had some complaints about a little bit of back soreness today. So we're going to do some stretching through the spine, in particular, some opening, some twisting to compress the spinal discs. Just trying to let go and let some space be created. And if there's any other intention you have for your practice, just establish that now. And then we're going to invite in a bit of movement. So just slowly start to walk your hands over to the right, stretching through the left side body. And hi to Jules, who just popped in. I didn't say hello to you. And then come all the way through center with the arms. And side bend the other way, so over to the left. And then come all the way back through center. And then let's take a breath in and come up into a tabletop. Nice. And then take a few rounds of breath cat-cowing. So you're tilting at the pelvis and you're opening through the heart, and then you're lifting the spine and curling it back up. So inhaling, you tilt to the pelvis and your heart opens, and then you exhale, your spine curls up. And then come all the way through center. How would it feel to walk your hands forward on the mat and then just lower your forehead down towards the mat? So this is called puppy pose. This is a heart opener, a little bit of a back bend. And just kind of breathe into whatever sensations are showing up for you in this moment. Taking one more round of breath in this puppy. And then just walk your hands all the way back up into a table. And from our tabletop pose, we're going to spread through the palms, spread through the fingers, get really active and intentional through the hands, and then tuck the toes and lift all the way up and back into a down dog. And just bend through one knee and then bend through the next. Pressing down through the heels. Getting a little stretch through the calves. And then let's take an inhale and we're going to ripple from our down dog all the way forward into a plank. Yeah, you got it. Nice. And then come all the way up and back into a down dog. And then just do it 3 more times, coming forward. Nice. And then shifting back. 2 more. Nice. Coming back. And then 1 more, come all the way forward. And then once you come forward, land onto the knees and untuck the toes. And then draw your elbows back so you lower down and then push the ground away. This is a yoga push-up and we're just going to do 3 of these. So we're really building strength through the triceps. Nice, good. 2 more. And then a last 1. And then just slowly lower all the way down. Walk your hands wide and you're on the fingertips and your elbows are reaching up towards the sky. And then just take a breath in and lift your heart up into this gentle back bend. Nice. And then exhale, take it back down. And then let's just do this 3 more times. Inhaling, lifting your heart. And then exhaling, lowering. 2 more. One more. Nice. Lower all the way down. Palms underneath the shoulders. Lift up through a tabletop. And then come all the way up and back to a down dog. Leave your left foot where it is. Take your right leg up. And then bend through the right knee and just circle through the knee, kind of opening up through the hip. And then we'll lengthen the right leg all the way up. Take a breath in. Draw your right knee in. Can you step your right foot between your palms? Nice. And then just rock back and forth, getting into the hip. And then we're going to do a little bit of stretching through the hips this morning. My favorite kind of sequence of pose. Left knee lands and then inhale your arms up. I love how I do this thing where I tend to speak in the time zone of where some of you guys are. So that a lot of you, it's the morning. So I say, we're going to do this morning. And it is in reality 5 p.m. where I am. Take a breath in. And then can you reach your arms out in front of you? And then leave your left arm where it is and pull your right arm back like you're pulling this bow and arrow. And then extend your right arm behind you. Nice. Now we're going to reach forward with the left hand. Land the left palm on the inside of the right foot. And then option 1, you're here. Option 2, right hand on the sacrum. And option 3, kick the heel back, doing a little bit of a quad stretch. Nice. Knowing that there's no hierarchy of poses, And so your goal here is just to find what feels good and breathe into that and be with that. And part of that is what showing up compassionately for yourself means. It's not judging yourself for the place where you are today. That's just where you are, what you're arriving with. Can we release the left foot? Take the right palm forward, and then we're going to walk both hands back as we invite length along the right leg. And then take a few breaths. Nice, and then walk the palms forward. Plant through both palms, tuck your left toes, lift your left knee. Great. Now you can either just step straight back, or you might come with me into a side plank, reaching the right arm up, rolling onto the other edge of the left foot, stepping the right foot back. Nice, holding on here for 3 breaths. Good, 2. And then 1, inhale. And then exhale, land your right palm down, move through a vinyasa flow, either with your knees lifted or lowered. Nice, coming all the way back to your down dog. I think because we shifted the time later tonight, you guys might get to see the sunset here, which is pretty beautiful. Leave your right foot where it is, lift your left leg up and circle. You don't really get the sunset from my window actually per se. You just kind of see like the afterglow on the water, which I really like. Extend your left leg all the way up, big breath in. And then pull your left knee in, step your left foot between your palms, and then just come forward and back, getting into the hips. Oftentimes, low back pain is sometimes tied to tight hips or tight hamstrings. So we'll do lots of nice hip stuff today. Land your right knee, and then inhale, lift your arms up towards the sky. This is your Anjaneyasana, your low lunge. And from your low lunge, can you reach both arms forward and then leave your right arm where it is? Pull your left arm back like you're pulling open this bow and arrow, opening through your heart. Take an inhale. And then reach forward, right palm lands. Oh yeah, Leanne has work. Oh. And then either keep your left arm extended or reach your left arm back, land on the sacrum, maybe kick the heel back, grab hold of the foot. The trouble with these time zones and all these changes, trying to accommodate everyone around the world occasionally is tricky. But that's commitment, showing up for 13 minutes, isn't it? Take one more breath and then release the foot. Take the left palm forward, and then we'll just walk the fingers back as we lengthen over the left leg, and then take a few breaths, hinging your body forward. Nice, and then walk your fingertips back, plant through your palms, tuck your toes, lift your knee, step your left foot back, and then move through a vinyasa. Oh, I missed a side plank, didn't I? Thank you for everyone who did it. Come forward, and then move into that side plank. So your right palm stays grounded, left arm lifts up for 3. I was just adding in an extra vinyasa for you. 2. And then 1, I did it on purpose. Land your left palm. No, I did not. Move through a vinyasa. Everyone makes mistakes. Acknowledging that and being compassionate towards yourself, that's what loving kindness is. Leave both palms, lift your right leg up. Circle through the right knee again, opening through the hip. And then reach your right leg up towards the sky. Draw your right knee in. You're going to step the right foot between the palms. You can use your hands to kind of wiggle the foot a little bit further forward until you have alignment with the right knee on top of the right ankle. And then let's just inhale both arms up towards the sky. So we're bringing our body into a standing high lunge. So if you're feeling a little wobbly, You can widen your feet a little bit. Sometimes that helps. And then open your arms into a cactus arms. And we're going to take an inhale. And with our cactus arms, just lean the heart up ever so slightly and look up, taking a little bit of a back bend, a little bit of a heart opener. Realign your spine. And then from the cactus arms, can you weave your right arm underneath the left and then high five the hands together, or just grip opposite shoulders? Nice. Now, how would it feel to shift weight onto your right foot and lift your left leg up? This is your warrior three. Now, if the arm variation is throwing you off, just release the grip. You don't have to do it. Find a variation that works for you. And know that if you fall, can finish my sentence, you're still a good person. Lift all the way up to stand, and can you stack and cross your left knee on top of your right and sit back into a Garudasana, an eagle, for 3. Nice, yeah, you got it, for 2. And then on 1, we'll lift all the way up to stand, put both feet on the mat, sweep your arms upward, and then take your palms together. Close your eyes, breathe in and breathe out. Leave your right foot where it is. You're just going to lift your left foot up and land your left foot either on the inside of the ankle, the shin, or maybe the thigh. And then just place the palms at heart center. Find a drishti point, so something to focus on. And as the body finds the middle, the mind finds the moment. So the body steps into the middle, the mind steps into the moment. Take one more breath. Now from your tree, can you just lift your left knee up and then tilt back, transition through a warrior 3 again. And then step your left foot all the way back. Land onto your left heel this time. Open up into a warrior 2. So your right knee is stacking above your right ankle. Your right arm is reaching forward. Left arm is reaching back. This is warrior 2. Tomorrow I'm doing a warriors workshop. If you want to go through all of these poses in detail with alignment, etc., that is the class. I'm super excited for it. Let's move through some flows with our breath. Inhale, reverse your warrior. And then exhale, right elbow to right thigh. And then just do that 3 more times. Breath in. And then breath out. 2 more. Nice. 1 more. You've got it. Inhale, lift all the way up. Lengthen through your right leg. Turn all 10 toes to face the side wall. And then we'll hinge at our arms forward and just bring our body into a wide-legged forward fold. Choose an arm variation that suits you. You can have your arms dangle. You can grip opposite elbows. You can interlace the palms and reach them behind you. Just let your head and neck go. Inversions are really good for the mood. The blood flow back to the brain can sometimes make us feel better. Can you stay hanging out in this forward fold for 1 more breath? And then press through both feet, come all the way up to stand. Turn your right toes back to the front of the mat. Reach your arms up and then hinge forward with your right arm, forward, forward, forward. Right arm clocks alongside right calf, left arm extends up towards the sky. You got it. And then if you want to play with your balance, you're going to shift weight onto your right foot, right fingertips, and then lift your left leg up. This is your Ardha Chandrasana, your half moon. You can have a block underneath your hand. Yeah. You can support yourself by holding onto a wall, whatever you need. And then how would it feel to kick your left foot back? Maybe take hold of your left foot. Make it into sugar cane, a little bit of a back bend for 3. Nice, for 2. And then on 1, release that grip. Land your left palm back down. Let's all step all the way back. Good. Yep, pressing through both palms, coming through a vinyasa. And then eventually coming all the way up to down dog. Let's stay still in down dog for a few breaths. So we're just over a third of the way through our practice. We're 20 minutes into it. And how are you feeling now compared to when you showed up? I think there's always a moment in the practice where you somehow just like release your to-do list and you're just here now. Has that hit you yet? Have you hit that moment yet? And if you have not, that's okay. It's perfectly okay. Show up with compassion. That is the cornerstone of mindfulness. Lift your left leg up. Maybe bend through the knees, circling out the hip. And then extend through your left leg. Pull your left knee in, step your left foot between your palms. Nice. We're going to inhale, lift all the way up. And then again, open our arms, cactus arms, and then just lean the heart back. Small little back bend. If you're wobbly, it's okay. Let your spine realign back in neutral. Wrap your left arm underneath your right arm. Opposite side, you can grip opposite shoulders as well if this bind is inaccessible today. And then trust that your left foot will hold you. And can you tilt your way up to a warrior 3, Virabhadrasana 3? Remember that the pose is not the goal. It's just a vehicle. It's a vehicle for you to explore yourself. So if you're falling and then judgments are coming up, like I suck at this, I'm bad at yoga. By the way, I speak from experience. This is me. This is what I used to think when I first started yoga. So if you have those judgments about yourself, can you stop and notice them? Instead of just letting them rule your mind, stop and notice them. Tilt all the way up to stand. How would it feel to cross your right thigh on top of your left? And if you're wobbly, you're wobbly. Take one more breath in this bind. And then can you feel the freedom and the release when you inhale and just step both feet onto the mat and sweep your arms upward? And then take your palms in heart center. There is clarity in contrast. Feel the contrast between balancing on one foot, balancing on 2. What other clarity and contrast can you draw from your life right now? Maybe it's the clarity and contrast of waking up for early morning yoga for the first time. Maybe it's the contrast in being on winter holidays if you're me right now. Just observe it, notice it. What can you take from it? Leave your left foot firmly rooted on the mat and then place your right foot on the inside of the ankle or the shin or the thigh. And then rest your palms together at heart center. Find your Rikshasana, your tree. And if I was teaching kids yoga, this would be the point where I would pretend to blow you all over like wind in the trees. And if you're 6 years old, you would think that was the funniest thing ever. But you're not 6, so I'm not going to do that. Can you now just draw your right knee in and then tilt your way forward and extend your right leg back momentarily before landing your right foot and stepping all the way back to warrior 2. Find your alignment. This is a long, low lunge with the knee stacking above ankle. And then we move on our breath. We inhale, reverse. We exhale, come forward to extended side angle. Can you take 3 more of these, letting your own breath be your guide? Knowing that there is zero race or competition. Everyone breathes at a slower pace, and the goal of this is to just notice what pace you breathe at and come into alignment with that. And then after you do your 4th one, you come up to the warrior 2 and then lengthen the left leg. We'll do the same thing we did on the opposite side. So turn the toes in and then hinge forward and find your wide-legged forward fold. Let go of movement, receive stillness. Let go of effort, receive ease. And as the body finds the middle, the mind finds the moment. The body steps into the middle and the mind steps into the moment. Let's just slowly roll up to stand. Turn the left toes back to the front of the mat. Reach your arms up and then reach forward with the left arm. Take the left arm alongside the left calf. Reach the right arm up. So this is your triangle. And then if you want to shift weight onto your left foot and left fingertips, go ahead. Find your Ardha Chandrasana, your half moon. And then if you want to shift your foot back and take your sugar cane, feel free to do that as well. Nice. Can you release that? Step your foot all the way back. Nice. Plant through the palms, step back. You got it. One more vinyasa. Coming all the way up to our down dog. And then land your knees on the mat. Untuck the toes. Sit the hips back onto the heels and rest the forehead. Arrive in your balasana, your child's pose, and invite a little check-in. How are you feeling midway through the practice? So what inspired this morning's class theme is my yoga teacher, Rolf, last night posted something on Facebook that reminded me, I think we've all heard it before, but he posted the quote that everyone you meet is fighting a hard battle that you might know nothing about. And I think sometimes we get extremely caught up in our own worlds. Our own challenges, our own obstacles, and it's easy to forget that everyone is facing those kinds of challenges and everyone's facing hard things. And sometimes when you become aware of that, it helps you be a little bit less judgmental and a bit more compassionate. Everyone is fighting a hard battle we know nothing about. It was a good reminder. Let's take one more breath in this child's pose. And then we're going to come forward into a Sphinx pose. Nice little back bend. So you're going to come all the way forward onto your elbows. And we're just going to be here for 3 minutes. So for the first 2 minutes, we will be upright in this Sphinx, and then there'll be an option to open into a seal by pressing through the palms and lifting up the elbows. So if it's comfortable for you, you can close the eyes or just settle the gaze. So the very first couple of months when I really got into yoga, when I was around age 18, I was practicing in a yoga studio that had mirrors in all the rooms. And when I would come into the room with the mirrors, I would spend the whole class just like looking at myself and picking apart myself and my body and comparing myself to all the other women in the room. I think all of us have kind of faced some form of this. Jen Pastiloff, in her book, she calls it the IA, the inner asshole. I'm sorry for swearing. But I think we all have someone like that inside of our brains who kind of puts us and ourselves down. Now, if you want, you can stay on the elbows, or you could spread the palms, bring them a little wide, and then just pushing through the palms to lift the heart up. This is seal. If this is too much, feel free to just back off. You're not in any way committed to stay just because you've tried it. We'll just be here for a minute. And I find it funny that I was behaving that way in my own head without even realizing it, because it was like the opposite of what yoga is meant to be, right? It's not supposed to be an hour where we critique ourselves. It's supposed to be an hour where we love ourselves. We love each other. Take one more breath in whatever back bend you're in. And then just come all the way down, and you can place the palms on the mat and just rest the head. I have this inner monologue that sometimes runs in my own head where I think I'm a bad person. I haven't had it in a really, really long time, but I'll tell you an example of that in a moment. We're going to stay for one more breath as we are. And then just come onto the palms and lift up. And so we're going to do 2 deep hip opening poses. Okay, so for the first one, we're going to be coming into hero's pose. And this is going to be for our quads. And I'm going to give you a couple of options. So Option one is to take the heels wide, spread the calves to the side, and then sit your bottom down between your heels. If right away your quads are really tight and this is not working for you, you can be sitting up on a block or up on books like that. That is also an option. Okay, and if it totally does not work as well, you could take any other form of quad stretch, like coming forward and just stretching your quad like this. Okay, this is an option. If you're someone like me who has flexible quads and this is not a deep enough of a stretch, then you might journey with me coming down onto the elbows and then maybe onto the back. And then rest your palms on your belly, or maybe lift your arms up overhead. Knowing that we are going to be in whatever pose you chose for like 3 minutes. So choose one that's sustainable. So last Christmas, I went home for Christmas, and it was my first Christmas in Canada in like 7 years. For a long time, my family would travel to Jamaica for Christmas. And then one year I backpacked around Southeast Asia. So I hadn't been with my family for Christmas in a year, and they had stayed in Canada for Christmas. And when I got home for Christmas last year, I didn't really pack gifts. I didn't really think of bringing anything, because all the years when we went to Jamaica, we just never got gifts for each other. That was just something we didn't do. You know, the trip was the gift. And so I hadn't really participated in a family gift exchange for 7 years. And so I didn't even think to bring anything. And then I got showered with like the most beautiful gifts from my uncle and from my grandma and from my sister and my brother-in-law and my mom. And I just felt terrible because I was the one person who showed up to Christmas without gifts for people. And I just hadn't been to a Christmas since 2013 where we gave gifts. So I just didn't even think it was a thing. And I had this thing running in my head, like I'm a bad person. The whole time. I felt awful. And I remember finally saying to my grandma, you know, I feel so terrible that I didn't bring you a gift for Christmas. And she said to me, she was like, Alex, I'm 90. The gift is that you flew across the world. I don't need anything. And she was just happy to be spending the holidays with me for the first time in a long time. And I, in my head, had worked up this whole story of like, you know, she was sitting there mad at me or judging me for not showing up with anything, when really that was like the last thought that had passed her mind. Stay in this quad stretch for a few more breaths. And then just make your way up out of whatever whatever pose you've chosen, and wiggle your way up out of it and come into stillness. Let it be a little bit of a rebound. But I wasn't even aware at that time that this whole I am a bad person narrative was running through my head until I actually stopped and looked at it for what it was. And it takes active work to like rewrite that. You know, I'm a good person. I am a good person. Sometimes you have to like literally interfere, stop your thoughts before they take you in a spiral to a not great place. Can we take another breath where we are? And then we're going to take 2 more kind of deep hip openers. So coming up to the palms and bringing yourself into a table. And then lifting up to a down dog. So we're going to move from our down dog into a pigeon. So you can take your right leg up and then pull your right knee in. Lay your right shin across the width of the mat and then wiggle your left knee back. Yeah, exactly. So if this right away is like not suiting your knees, if this doesn't feel quite right, you can also be on your back and you can have your right ankle crossed over the left knee and then just kind of working with your hip in this way. Right? Part of showing up for ourselves compassionately is that we will do no harm to our bodies. And if it feels like we're doing harm, then we can move to another variation. It's all good. And then from your pigeon, slowly come down onto the elbows. So one of the tools that I used over Christmas when my head was in a bit of a spin was when walking down the street, I used the simplest meditation that I could, which is right foot here, left foot now, inhale here, exhale now. So all you do is just say here, now, here, now, here, now, here, now. And if your brain is in a spiral and you're in one of those negative head spaces, sometimes coming back to the moment with the breath can be the best thing. But also having compassion for yourself if you really can't do it. And when your mind wanders away, as minds do not do what I did, which was get stuck in a loop in my head of, I suck at this, I'm so bad at being in the present moment. Just gently invite yourself to come back. Start again. Try again. Remember that you are a good person. And you're doing the best you can, and that's enough. Take another breath. And then come up onto the palms. Nice work, you did it. Come all the way back into whatever rebound pose works for you. So it might be on your knees in a table. You might just come back to seated and just give yourself a breath. So asymmetrical poses like the one we just did are really cool because they really give us an opportunity to observe. If you look and listen closely, you can feel the difference between your right side and your left side. What do you notice? What do you feel? And then let's come the opposite way. So lifting up. And then we'll just move our left knee across the width of the mat. This is the last of our poses before we drop into stillness in our Shavasana. So know you can take whatever variation works, coming down onto the elbows or on your back if your knee is sensitive. Nice. I have a favorite passage from my teacher Rolf's book. He says, we heal by degrees. We have bad days and good days in our yoga practice as in our life. Sometimes the progress of yesterday seems to have evaporated today. And yet there is always movement. As long as we show up and we do the work, the healing will happen. Just take a few more breaths in your pigeon. And then can you just lift up onto the palms? And this time we're just going to move to one side. Wiggle our feet forward. Lay our spines all the way back down on the mat, and we're gonna release with just a short little twist. So you can take your knees and drop your knees over the right, knees over the left shoulder. I like finishing off with a spinal twist because I feel like it's a really juicy way to kind of compress and decompress and release. And it's almost like wringing out a wet washcloth. And then take your knees all the way back through center. And then just drop them the opposite way. Come all the way back with the knees. Bring your knees into the chest. Give your body a nice little hug. And then just slowly make your way into whatever final resting pose you want to hold yourself in for the last few minutes of the practice. Letting it be a gentle pose that invites you to process the last 60 minutes that we just moved through. And can you let go knowing that I will bring you back when the time is up? Ooh, child, things are gonna get easier. Ooh, child, things will get brighter. Ooh, child, things are gonna get easier. Ooh, child, things will get brighter. Someday we'll get it together and we'll get it all done. Someday and the world is much brighter. Someday we'll walk in the hands of a beautiful sun. Someday and the world is much lighter. child, things will get easier. Give your body a little bit of a wake up wiggle. Running a nice, soft and sweet stretch through the body. Maybe bringing your knees into your chest, giving your body a nice little hug. Saying to yourself, I love this body. I love this spirit. I love this mind. Each and every day. And then just make your way up to seated. Pressing the palms at the heart center. We close with our intention. An ancient intention, but the original intention. Passed from the heart of my teacher, and I pass it to you. And it's that our practice remain steady and our efforts remain continuous. And that our yoga serves and benefits not just ourselves, but all beings everywhere. May all beings be safe, happy, healthy, free, and may the thoughts and actions of each of our lives contribute towards this. So we'll finish with an Om. We're going to inhale and exhale, and inhale through to make the Om. So a big breath in, big breath out, big breath in. Thank you so much for sharing this space and this practice. The light in me, it sees and it honors the light in you. Namaste.